Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome to Ficus Friday, even though it's Sunday. Today I'll be working on my two little leaf Ficus benjamina. It's definitely ficus weather today, a high of 31 degrees Celsius or 87 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to begin today by showing you some gifts I got in the mail. I've got some birthday wishes from Barb for my 60th birthday, so thanks Barb. She sent me this beautiful card with a wooden tree. Really cool. Her club in Ann Arbor, Michigan, we're doing a fundraiser for the Jack Wilkie Bonsai Legacy. So she sent me one of the calendars. It's a legacy fund so they can take care of this senior club members' trees. And it's a beautiful calendar. So it features a lot of Jack's trees, just beautiful. I won't show you the whole thing, but yeah, I mean just beautiful trees. So thanks Barb. She sent me a nice letter, and she won these two books at, I think it was, I'm not sure what it was, silent auction maybe, or raffle tickets, I don't know, but she sent me these two books, Ficus, the World of Bonsai. And the cool thing is that they're signed by Jerry himself. And Barb has written a message. It says, July 2022, happy 60th birthday, Nigel. I won this book at the auction raising money for the Jack Wilkie Bonsai Legacy Fund at Hidden Lake Gardens in Tipton, Michigan, USA. When I saw it in the silent auction, I knew it was meant to be yours since you love Ficus Bonsai so much. I do. I hope you enjoy reading it. Barb from Ann Arbor, Michigan. It says, from your bonsai workshop at Tropical Expression. So thanks very much, Barb. And here it is, signed by Jerry himself. So that is a wonderful to have in my bonsai book collection. And then here's the soft cover version. Actually, this is the original one. This is the second edition, and this is the original one, and it is also signed by Jerry himself with a message from Barb. And I love with books is that you buy a book and then you put your name in it and the date you bought it, and then you give it away to someone, and then they put their name in it, and it has a history of who owned the book. And I think that's really cool. I got sweat dripping in my eyes. So this is the first edition, and in the first edition, Barb put a sticky note at this page, which has a Buddha head with a ficus growing around it. And she also sent me a present, which is in here, which is a Buddha head. And I'm going to grow a ficus around it. I think that'll be really, really cool. So thanks so much, Barb. This is awesome. I've also got a package from Patricia. She's a longtime viewer of the Bonsai Zone, and she sent me some cool seeds. Happy growing from Pompano Beach, Florida. Wow, exotic. So I have got yellow elder Tacoma stands seeds. Very cool. I have got miracle fruit. Wow, cool. I've got red amaryllis. Very cool. And plumeria, Miami rose. Well, I can try plumeria again. My first two didn't work out so well. I bought one and it was growing really well, and then I cut the top off and I planted the cutting. The cutting also rooted, but the one I cut off the top, it just stayed there. It didn't grow anymore for like a couple of years. And then and then the cutting and the original plant eventually just kind of weakened and died. So I can try some more plumeria. That'll be cool. So thanks very much, Patricia. I'll plant these seeds and we'll see if we can grow some cool plants. And then last but not least, I got this mysterious bag from Scott Winard from the YouTube channel Let's Do Bonsai. Let's see what's inside. Whoa. It looks like tools. Lots of tools. Oh my goodness. A lot of tools in here. Okay. So this is a... What is the company name? It's Vuiyu. I think it's called Vuiyu. Chinese company. And stainless steel tools. So there's a branch splitter here. Let's have a look at that. So this will be really useful when I go to do the deadwood on my birthday tree, my 60th birthday tree. That is really cool. So they're very sharp, and it's used for splitting branches. You can split the branch in half, and then it makes it easier to bend branches, or if you're creating deadwood, you can create deadwood with them. Very cool. And then the next tool we have here is gin pliers. So when you're creating deadwood, they have teeth on them, and you can grab the branch, you can peel off the bark, and you can manipulate them. You can grab a vein of wood and peel it back to create, really authentic looking deadwood. So that is another good tool I can use on my 60th birthday tree. Then let's see what else. There is some branch pruners. Very nice. These are fairly large tools, so I don't have a lot of large tools, and they're very, very sharp. Wow. So that's really nice too. Good for larger trees. And then we've got a pair of scissors. Long ones to reach into forests. Oh, and they're also very, very sharp. Beautiful tools. There's a train going by. And then we have a pair of if I can get it out here. There we go. A pair of ball nose cutters. So you can see the rounded surface here. And they are also very sharp. The jaws overlap nicely. Yeah, it looks really good. So stainless steel tools, they don't rust, which is one good thing. But the steel isn't quite as hard as like carbon steel, high carbon steel. So it doesn't hold the edge quite as long, but you've got to resharpen them a little more often. But the fact that they don't rust is definitely a bonus, because it's the kind of tool that you can leave out on the bench, and if it's like misting or raining, or you leave it out on the bench overnight, it's not going to be all rusty the next day, which is definitely a plus. And then the last tool in here is, wow, I don't know what it is. I've never come across a tool like this before. I'm only kidding. They're wire cutters. So when you have your tree wired up and you want to remove the wire, this gets in close to the branch, and then you snip the wire off. So this tool I may not use very often, but I'm sure I will. I mean, I've used wire. I've tied trees down in pots. I've used guy wires and things like that. And so yeah, it's a good tool to have in your collection. So that's it for the tool collection. That is just absolutely fantastic. Nice to have a set of larger tools and stainless steel. I'm going to try it out. I have no idea how good these tools are. I mean, initially, they're very nicely made. They feel good. The rivets are nice and tight. How long they'll last and how well that edge will hold up, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll do an update, maybe a year from now. Maybe on my next birthday, we'll have an update and see how the tools are doing. So thanks very much, Scott, and all the other people who gave me birthday presents. I got spoiled, that's for sure. It's time now to start working on my 2 little leaf ficus. I did a lot of work to this tree last year. I did a severe root pruning. I did some top pruning, and I kind of got it on track. It had this huge bulbous root system on it, and so today I'm going to concentrate on the upper canopy, bit of pruning and styling. So this branch has always bothered me, but I had to wait until these branches thickened up in the bottom before I could prune that off. And I'm wondering if I should take this entire side off. These two branches, even though it kind of forms a canopy, they're opposite each other. And I'm thinking up top here I have enough foliage that if I took this branch off, I would have, my first major branch dividing here, and then up top I can have another one. So they're kind of staggered, so they're not opposite each other like these branches are currently. It's a big cut. I think styling wise it'll really improve the tree. And I'm wondering, should I use the new tools on it? Let's try them out. Alright, here we go. Here's the branch pruners. Big steps coming here. Alright, so you can see there's quite a bulbous area here. I'm going to start by taking the tall one off the top. So here I go, using the new pruners. Thanks, Scott. Just like that. So that's a good cutting. I can try and root that. So there's what the tree looks like. Definitely an improvement, but I still think it would look better with a clean line going up this one side. So here I go. I'm going to take the rest of it off now. Big cut coming up. I'll nibble away, so I'll take this part off first. Those branches I was waiting to thicken up, they can come off. Another piece off. So I've got to make it kind of smooth. So there's a big cuts here. Wow. Here I go. Good thing I have these large tools. So a scar like this will heal fairly quickly because it's on the trunk and the tree will grow up top. It'll callus over fairly quickly. Now, when I say quickly, I mean 2 to 3 years. So now you can see it's pruned off. I think the basic structure of the tree looks much better. But I've still got some work to do here. You can see I'm still kind of heavy on this part, so I've got to reduce it back further. So that's looking better. I think that's going to be it. There's a shoot at the bottom I can also take off. I don't want any little branches down below. Like that. It's quite a change to the tree, but I think it looks better. I think it really helps the overall shape of it. I was never a fan of those opposite branches. They always look kind of, I don't know, a bit funny. So now, coming up the tree, I've got one kind of growing in towards the other major branch there. It's kind of growing out front, which is good, but I have some other branches here that I can grow out front, so I don't need that branch, so I'm going to remove it. And for that, I will need some scissors. Alright, let's try out the the scissors now. So here I go. I'll come in here and prune it off. Just like that. I've also got some little shoots in here I can remove that are growing in towards each other, the branches. Dead ones there. I've got a branch, if I come up the trunk line here, I have two little branches here. I've got one that comes straight out towards the front of the tree. I have one off to the side. I'm going to prune the one that's coming straight out. I'm going to prune that away, keeping the side one, and then I'll prune this back part of this branch away, just to keep it kind of fanning out towards the front here. I have another branch on the inside here I can remove. So now I have this trunk line comes up and it kind of ends abruptly here. There's a whole bunch of little shoots that died off. I don't really have a nice leader. Maybe this one is my best here. But the branch that comes out towards the back is actually taller than this part of the tree. So I've got to reduce it back to create kind of a more compact crown. So I'm going to look for a place to prune that. There's not any really good place. Maybe I can take that whole upright part off, and I will. So it divides. There's a branch coming out the back, which is smaller, shorter. I can take that upright section right off. So another big change for the tree. Here I go. That's come off. Yeah, looking much better. I have another tall one coming up here. I've got to reduce that back. I'm thinking back to here. I think this division up here is too high. Yes, it is. Even this might be too high. I think I'm going to go right back to here. That section was just too long and straight. Now, coming off of this branch, this other kind of trunk line coming up here, I've got two branches here that are growing one above the other. I've got to decide which one do I want to keep. And I think it's going to be the upper one. The lower one just doesn't look very good. It doesn't flow out from the trunk line. So the lower one comes off like that. Cleaning that up. And then this one has to be reduced back. And I don't have a whole lot of foliage, so I'm going to have to prune it back to here. And then hopefully something will develop on this branch. So I've left some good leaves up top here to keep sap flowing to that branch. But hopefully I'll get something else coming out here and I can shorten it further in the future. Now, up front I've got a cluster of branches here. I'm pretty sure I don't need those. I think I want to develop my canopy up higher, so I think branches like this and this other one should be cleaned out. So here I go. Cleaning all those fussy kind of branches out of here. It kind of makes you concentrate on the major, branches or structure of the tree without it looking all cluttered and fussy. So this one can come off too. And all these pruning scars will, leave character to the tree. When they heal over, they'll look, perfectly fine. So there, that's cleaned up, that basic flow lines going up the tree. Looks much better. Going to have a look now. Yeah, it looks much better. Now I'm wondering about these other low ones here. Out the back I've kind of got a knob, and these low ones, I think that can come off too. Again, cleaning up the design. So that comes off. I'll just clean this cut up. like that. That's pretty good. So there's that cut cleaned up. So now you can really see that basic upright structure to the tree. It looks very pleasing. There's a few branches I can prune back shorter. I've got to kind of get a rounded canopy on top, so I'm just going to kind of do a profile prune. That's basically what I'm going to do, so here I go. So that looks much better. You can see kind of the rounded profile to the canopy now. There's one sticking out the back here. I've got to prune it back. I'm going to go back to here. There's one kind of crossing here. I don't know if I need that one. I don't think so. I'm going to take that off. Like that. This little one here is okay. One growing in the canopy there. So now I've got a bit of sorting to do in the canopy area here. I've got some branches growing up. This one divides from 1 to 3, so I'll take off the vertical one. Just little, cleaning out the structure so everything gets light. I've still got this trunk line coming up. I've got it divides from 1 to 3, so I'm going to take out the back one here. It doesn't flow very well. Like that. So that's better. There's one at the back here. You can see this branch comes up, and then I've got one to the front and one to the back, and they're opposite. And this one from the front view kind of crosses across the design. So I'm going to remove that one totally. So here I go. Like that. And then I'm wondering about this branch. You can see I have this back one growing up, and this one kind of crosses it. And I'm wondering if I cleaned that one out, grew the canopy up high, and then this other branch here, would it look better? The problem is these two branches are kind of parallel. It's a tough choice. It's do I get rid of that whole branch? Maybe. It does add a bit of depth to the back here, but or do I prune it off short? Yeah, that's what I do. So out the back of it, I have this that I can use as the leader and prune this part off. And then it'll flow outwards, fan outwards better. So here I go. Let's do it. Big cut. Like that. Now, hopefully from the front, looks a little better. Yeah. And then I still think I need to clear this branch out. Let me do a final look here. Yeah, I think, if you imagine this growing and filling in here, I don't need this one. If I prune it away, it's going to look very bare, until this upper part fills in. It may be a decision. I'm going to prune the back part of this one off. I think, am I? Yeah, it kind of grows in towards the tree. I'm going to take this one out. Like that. Take this one off here, this lower one. There's one growing from between these two branches. I'll remove that one. One growing between these two branches. I can remove that just to clean it out. The structure out. There's a little shoots growing here. I'll clean those out. There's big changes today for this tree. There's one kind of hanging down that grows in towards this branch. I don't need that, so I'm taking it right out. There's another one hanging down from the inside of a curve here. I'll get rid of that. And another one here I've got to get rid of. Like that. That way you can see kind of the leader of this trunk going up. Yeah, it's possible. So, looking at the root base, here's the present front of the tree. And I think the better front is slightly over here, which makes these two trunks here in line with each other. Yeah. And so there's no point having this back one really, unless I want, you know, a branch filling in behind here. Which, maybe. We'll leave it for now. But I think, yeah, I think somewhere about here is the new front. It shows the roots spread off the best, the branch structure. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. I think I've done quite a surgery to the tree, quite a change, and yeah, I think it's really increased its potential as a beautiful bonsai. I think it looks more flowing. It always looked kind of awkward with those opposite branches, and it didn't have any flow to it. It was a very awkward looking tree. And now I think it's getting quite beautiful, both the root spread and the upper structure. I'll rotate the tree around so you can see it from all angles now. So this is probably the front somewhere about here now. So here we go, rotating it around. You can see on the trunk here there's a big scar that's healing over really nicely. So that big one up here will heal over like that too. It'll look good. So somewhere back to the front here. So big changes for this tree over the last 2 years. You know, that severe root pruning. Today the severe structural pruning. But it's going to make a really nice tree, I think. Let's head into the greenhouse now for some ficus updates. All right, into the heat and humidity of the greenhouse. Actually, it feels about the same as outside. So here is my Ficus Bengalensis, and you can see it's hit the roof of the greenhouse. The trunk is starting to get kind of a gray color. It's kind of getting woody, which is really, really nice. And have a look at the roots down below here. They're continuing to grow down, down, and down. So they haven't reached the gravel of the floor of the greenhouse yet, but I think they will. And I'm kind of worried because when ficus roots hit the ground, they start tightening up. And theoretically, if they start tightening up, it could have enough power to maybe even bend this bench. So I've got to watch that. If they do hit the ground, they'll just hit that ground and they'll thicken up like you wouldn't believe. So I've got to be careful that it doesn't, you know, start pulling the top of the bench down, and it could actually bend the aluminum. So I got to be careful of that. So I'm thinking today, I haven't done any pruning to this tree. The only bonsai work I've done is I put it in this root maker pot. So I did quite a severe root pruning on it. And you can see from the root maker pot, if we come in here, you can see the roots are coming out of the root maker pot and growing down. So the root maker pot is probably working. There's probably quite a good root system in here. But I think I've got to do the first chop on the top of the tree because it is hitting the top of the greenhouse here. Wow, these leaves feel like velvet. They have like a fuzz to them. I've never noticed that before. Wow, is that ever cool? Yeah, so I think I can do my first chop to the tree. So what that'll do is the first chop, it'll start branches happening down below. If I don't chop it, it'll just keep growing taller and taller. And I may start to get some branches here, but it would take a while to develop. So I'm going to do a chop today, reducing the height, and I've got to decide where I'm going to chop it. It's a tough choice. So wherever I chop it, I'm going to get branches coming out where all these leaves are. So, and I do want to grow it as a fairly large bonsai because the leaves are naturally quite large on these trees. So I was thinking, you know, maybe here, I've got a lot of branches in this area here, so I could just top it off the top maybe. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just take it right off here. So let's get the pruners and make the big cut. All right, here comes the big cut. I can't move the tree off the bench because, you know, the roots have grown through the bench. So you can't move the tree. So when I do go to move the tree in fall to bring it inside, I'll have to cut away all those aerial roots. So here I go. So somewhere up here, I think you can see kind of the woody part of the trunk, and then it turns green. So I think I'm going to go off right here, which is still quite tall, but we'll see how it reacts. So here I go. Big cut coming up. Just like that. So here is the cutting now that I'm left with. And it's not woody, but it will probably root. I don't know. So I'll have to plant that and we'll see how it does. I removed the lower leaves on the cutting. So here it is planted beside the wild almond and the pyrocanthia cuttings. So we'll see how it does. I don't know. Who knows? It might just shrivel up and dry up, but we'll see. The other ficus in the greenhouse here is my Ficus rumphii. You can see the one branch is getting really, really long here. And I'm thinking I better shorten it a bit. It's just taking up too much space in the greenhouse. You can see there's some good roots growing across the surface of the soil here. So yeah, I think shortening it a bit is in order. So here I go. And I think I'm going to take it back to here. Like that. And then I've got another cutting I can plant. And I'll just give these cuttings away. They're not for me. I have enough trees, so. All right, so the Ficus rumphii cutting is planted right beside the Bengalensis. So that's kind of turned into a tray of cuttings now. I just have this wild almond, the one that survived the winter, and it's doing rather well. So we'll keep working on that too. I've got one more update in the greenhouse to show you, and that's my Ficus Religiosa, my larger one. It's doing some pretty cool stuff. I'll show it to you. All right, let's head inside and I'll show you the Ficus Religiosa. So here it is here. You can see the top is kind of leaves everywhere. So what's happening here is if I go underneath here, I've got a branch here that's pointing straight down. You can see it goes absolutely vertical here. I've got another cascading one over here and another one over here. And I think it's the coolest thing. I'm not going to prune it away. A feature like that to me is like a gift. It makes this tree very, very unique to have those hanging branches. And I'm sure I'll get more over this side eventually too, as the tree grows. You can see I've rotated it recently, so the back side here is getting more light. So yeah, it's very exciting to have that happen, to have those very unique branches form. And like I said, you know, instead of pruning these, which some people would call stranger branches away, I'm going to keep them. I think it's like the coolest feature of this tree now. This is the back of the tree. So yeah, I'm really happy to get those. I think it's going to be fantastic in the future as they develop and sub-branches off them. It's just going to look really good. So I'm very happy with my Ficus Religiosa, how it's developing. I think, you know, for a large leaf bonsai, these things are fantastic, and I can't wait to see it, you know, 10 years in the future. Very exciting. My avatar home tree, the one I repotted recently, did major root work to that one, is doing well. There's no leaves have fallen off. I've got some new growth here just starting to come. There's buds forming in a lot of places, so that's good. It shows it's recovering and doing well. My eucalyptus is also doing really well so far. No signs of distress on it, so that's exciting. The Franken Ficus is also doing really well. I've got a really good branch coming out the front here, and you can see how it needs something here to fill that canopy in. That's what it was missing, and it was always bare in this spot at the front. So I got this branch here. So always keep this branch pointing towards the sun, and it'll really, you know, once that fills in, it'll look fantastic, I think. Yeah, so I'm really happy with the Franken Ficus. You can see it looks really healthy. It's growing really nicely. So that is all for my fabulous Ficus Friday. That's on a Sunday this week. So I still got to do my Succulent Sunday video, which I'll have to do tomorrow on Monday. What a mess I've gotten myself into. So that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.